Hey, welcome to another episode of Financial Theory. Just trying something a bit different today. So the question I wanted to ask today is, when am I trimming my AMD position? So if you follow this channel, you would know that I am a massive shareholder in AMD stock, and it's made me a lot of money so far. And I'm very bullish on this company. And I know that a lot of people out there are invested in AMD stock as well, and you've probably made a lot of money so far. And you're probably thinking to yourself, when do I actually start to take profits? So at the moment, a lot of people are already starting to take profits on AMD stock. I'm not one of those people. I believe that this stock is going to skyrocket a lot further. Let's talk about that today. For example, a growth stock like AMD, the idea is you want to be buying into these stocks when the price is low, just before they're about to boom. And then when the stock booms, you hold on during that boom, and then you start to trim your position as soon as the growth starts to slow, because when the growth slows down, the stock price is going to start to tank. So essentially that's what you want to be doing. Now, to understand what's going to happen with AMD stock, you need to understand how the AI chip market works. The AI chip market is very cyclical. It goes through a period of boom and then bust. So let me quickly explain that. So let's say at the start there's a big demand in AI chips, which is what we're in right now. So that will increase the price of these AI chips, right? And then that causes chip makers like AMD, Nvidia, Broadcom, these sort of companies to increase their production in AI chips, to the point where eventually there's an oversupply of AI chips. When that happens, obviously the price decreases, profit margin decreases, and the stock price will start to crash until demand catches up again. So the other thing that we need to be aware of is when the hyperscalers are pulling back their capex. That's really a very big component of all this, because at the moment in 2026 alone, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're spending $700 billion in 2026 alone in AI infrastructure. And guess where all that money is going to? It's going to AMD, it's going into Nvidia, it's going to Broadcom, TSM. But when that spending starts to slow down, this is obviously bad news for companies like AMD and Nvidia. So ideally, you want to be trimming down your AMD, Nvidia positions 6 to 12 months before the capex spend starts to slow down. By the time the capex spend slowdown is apparent to the rest of the market, that's when the price has already crashed. So you want to be taking profits about 6 to 12 months before the capex slowdown occurs. So the big question is when I believe this is going to happen. No one knows for sure yet. I know that we're safe in 2026 because the hyperscalers have already spent their money, the $700 billion. I know AMD, Nvidia, these sort of companies are going to be making bank for the next 18 months. Also, Google has announced that they're raising $80 billion to further fund their AI infrastructure spending as well. That's further good news for AMD shareholders and Nvidia shareholders. So in 2027, if you actually check on Google, it says that Google are significantly increasing their AI capex spending in 2027 as compared to 2026. So that tells me that AMD is good for another 18 months or so at the very least. You should be starting to trim AMD around about 2028 to 2030. No one knows exactly at the moment, but the closer we get to that timeline, the more accurate we can predict what's going to happen. At the moment, I believe 2028 to 2030, you should be starting to trim down your AMD positions. But for the time being, enjoy the ride, because it's been a very amazing ride so far. The ride's not going to end anytime soon. As AMD shareholders, we're good for another 18 months at least, because the hyperscalers, the Googles, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, all these guys are spending. They're going to be increasing their capex spending in 2027. I'm not too worried about 2027. It's after 2027, that's when we have to start looking more into this more seriously and considering trimming. Anyone that's taking profits at the moment, I feel it's very premature, and I feel that it's a big mistake, but it's your portfolio. You can do what you want. Definitely at the end of this year, like I'm saying this with 95% confidence, that AMD stock will skyrocket again once the 450 series is released at the end of this year, and we'll probably see the numbers at the start of 2027. At the moment, I have no plans on selling any AMD shares. I'm very confident that the price of AMD stocks going to continue to skyrocket for the next 6 to 18 months. And that's my logic, because I know that AMD stock is safe and will continue to increase, because as long as the hyperscalers keep spending their money, where is all that money coming into? It's going to AMD, it's going to Nvidia. And that's why I know that AMD stock is going to go a lot higher. And also with the agentic AI thing, Lisa Su did mention that in the past, the requirements for CPU versus GPU, the ratio was 1:8 before, but now with agentic AI, they're needing CPUs a lot more. Now the ratio is 1:1. So this means that AMD is going to sell a lot more CPUs, not just GPUs. If you're AMD shareholder for the next 6 to 18 months, the stock price is going to skyrocket. All right, that's all I got for now. And yeah, we'll talk AMD a bit later. But as for now, I'm hanging on to every AMD share I've got. If you found this video useful, give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.